So I would like to start this course by a quote from Aristotle. If you don't know Aristotle, he is the father of biology. He is also a very great philosopher. He lived in the Greek, and he is one of the pioneers of almost all the sciences like biology, zoology. He has done like so many researches in so many fields. Even emotional intelligence term was not coined, but he knew what it is. So he quotes, anybody can become angry, that is easy, but to be angry with the right person and to the right degree and at the right time and for the right purpose and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power and it is not easy. So he is also talking about that there are some people who can control their emotions, there are some people who cannot control their emotions, and majority of the people cannot control their emotions. So he is also talking about some quality about emotional intelligence. So remember this quote. So we are continuing our emotional intelligence course. First lesson was overview. Second is introduction to emotional intelligence, its definition, and understanding some basic concepts. So you know about me. So if you feel these courses are helping in any way, do give it 5 star and review it. So the entire spectrum of emotions. Basically, it is not available to all of us. Many of us think we are either sad or happy, and sometimes. But can you see there are so many emotions? Here is remorse, here is contempt, aggressiveness, optimism, love, submission, awe, disapproval. And again, that you have ecstasy, vigilance, rage, anger, annoyance, disgust, boredom, sadness, pensiveness, distraction, surprise, amazement, terror, fear, apprehension. So, by the end of these course, I would like you to be more and more aware about your emotions using the techniques which I'll teach you in the later lessons. Again, like basic, if you want to know the basic emotion, one is surprise, sad, happy, fearful, angry, uncertain, love. So these are the basic emotions which a person feel on a day-to-day basis. Now, why EQ concept is very important? You might be knowing a lot of overachievers in life, like they have done so many. He was the president of United States of America. He was chief minister of Uttar Pradesh 3 times. He was chief minister of Uttarakhand 1 time. He was also minister of external affairs. He is a house of representative from New York City. Like, but there is something common between Bill Clinton, Andy Tiwari, and Anthony Weiner. They all got into trouble because of some sexual scandal cases. Like he was doing sexting, and obviously you know about Monica Lewinsky and Andy Tiwari. So you can see that even no matter how much IQ you have to have EQ. Otherwise, you will not be able to achieve what you want to achieve, and you will just remain a mediocre or above average person. Now also we can relate it to ki the sometimes it's just not your day. You don't feel like doing it. You just want to lie down on our bed. Sometimes you just like not don't want to work, don't want to study. But then there are some things which happen to you, right? Like if you know the reason for your emotions, you can control them or ask for help. For example, let's say my father, okay, when he gets up, he gets to know the news that my brother failed in the exam. As soon as he wakes up, this is the first news he hears. He is frustrated. Now he is frustrated because of two reasons. One, that his son failed in the exam, and other is that he could not help him. Okay, because he knows his stuff. He could have helped his son. But as he was busy in the work, so he could not help him. So now he's dually frustrated. He does not eat his breakfast properly, rushes to work. Now assume he takes the metro. Metro is full, lot of pushing is there, lot of sweat is there, lot of foul smell is there. Or let's assume he takes a car. His car is bumped from behind because he's driving aggressively. If he takes the metro, his shirt is ruined. And now boss, as soon as he come late, he's scolding him. Shirt is also bad. Now boss has a bad impression. Now assume he forgets some important document. My father forgets some important document at work. So now boss will scold more. So he works till late. Now when he comes home, obviously he's very, very frustrated. Now my mother does not know this. So he takes out his anger on the colleagues, come back home, scolds mother and me or whatever. It's just a hypothetical scenario. But if my father was more emotionally aware, or if anybody's father was more emotionally aware, like he would not have done it. He would have just talked to the parents. If he just know the reason, he can say it out loud to our family, friends, colleagues, tell them that I am in a bad mood, this might happen. So what happens is usually the mummy would understand, I would understand, and I will help him in his journey to overcome his frustration. Okay, so this is the most important thing. Now many people might be thinking that emotional and intelligent words are not commonly used, especially in a patriarchal society like India. Unfortunately, we think that women should be emotional and men should be logical and stoic. We should not cry. It's not an oxymoron. There is nothing wrong with it. Emotional intelligence is a very, very scientific concept which you need to know, and you need to respect it, and you need to express your emotions rather than holding them back. Now, when it comes to low versus high EQ, So a person who is having low EQ will do something which I told you right now. He will take out his frustration on people, other people. He will not be satisfied with life. He will not be happy. He will be just living in mediocrity. He will always be criticizing, cursing others. While a person with high EQ, he will be a people's person. He would understand other people's emotion. He will understand his own emotions. He will discriminate between different feelings. He will label them appropriately. He will use this emotional information to change his thinking, change his behavior. He will manage and adjust emotions so that he can adapt to environment and it can help him in achieving the goals. That is the main difference between a person with low EQ and high EQ. Now understand this emotions with a story. Let's say your friends break up and he calls you at 11 o'clock in the night. If you say कि I told you before, मैंने तो बोला ही था, I told you do not get into this relationship, she is bad for you. So that is antipathy. You are averse to the idea. You are not at all EQ sensitive person. He will hate you for life. Apathy means, यार I don't care about you, I just want to go to sleep, it's your life, please take care of it. It is slightly less worse, but again you are very very low on EQ. So can you see this space? So it means you are very low on EQ. When you go from apathy to sympathy, you say, oh, I am so sorry, I am so sorry for your loss, I know you are going through a lot of pain. So that is sympathy. You are sorry for him, but you cannot feel what he is going through. Then comes empathy. You will say, okay, I also felt the same way, I have walked in your shoes, okay, I can see life through your eyes. And that is empathy. That is, you have similar experiences and you can identify his emotions, and if you take the action on it, that is called as compassion. For example, you go to his house, you take him to dinner, you calm him down, you do everything in your power so that he does not feel bad. This is the highest level of EQ that is possible in this scenario. Similarly, let's say orphan kid is there, so and he's sitting on the road and he is boot polishing. So you say antipathy wise ki people like him, they give a bad impression to foreigners, tourists, they think India is poor. So that is antipathy. That is like so wrong at so many level. Apathy means, okay, you go to him, you get his boot polished, you give 2 rupees. Sympathy means, oh my god, poor kid, he is facing so many hardships, so how would he be sleeping in the night on with rain. Empathy means, oh my god, I can totally understand, I was also an orphan back then, or I also went through hardships when I was a child, I can totally relate, I also did not have money. But compassion means, you give him, let's say, 10,000 rupees, you ask him to go to a school, you enroll him in a school, you take him in his home, you get him to the government social security sector, you make sure that he attends his education, he is physically all right, he is mentally all right, he gets food on time, and he gets a roof. So this is a evolution of EQ. So many of you might be here, I want you to come to compassion and empathy. So that is what we are trying to achieve through this course. Now, like, this is a very big debate which is going on. Intelligence, how do you measure intelligence? The next lesson I'll talk about EQ versus IQ debate. But people think that who's getting high score in maths or literature or arts or whatever, who are getting good rank in exams, UPSC mein, if you get 10 rank or whatever, remembers the entire curriculum by heart. But this is not intelligence. This is just information reproduction. Okay, you might be a lawyer, you might be a doctor, you might be someone who remembers everything one needs to know about their curriculum, but this is just information reproduction. You read, you understand, you retain, you vomit it out in the exam. It will not give you life satisfaction, you will not rise and will always be just above average, you will not feel happiness. But let's say one guy who barely passes exam, never studies, no financial planning, no worries about the future, everyone loves him, he's street smart. Now he lacks the traditional IQ because he's not doing good with his life, but he has a very high EQ. Both of these cases are wrong. You need to have IQ as well as EQ, only then you can be awesome. Both of them are very very important. Daniel Goleman, who is the founder of these philosophies in 95, he went on to say that it can matter even more than IQ, but I don't agree with him. But at least EQ and IQ are equal. Now, another point is, just like willpower, emotional intelligence can be improved. I will tell you the exercises in the later part of these courses. 30 to 40 minutes per day for 5 days a week. Try to be emotionally aware. Whatever you're feeling, just write it down. Whenever your mood is off but you do not know the reason, try to introspect. Okay. So you go there and you just write it down on a piece of paper. Then, whatever you're feeling, over a period of time, you'll have a journal and you'll know your emotions well. So, what is this emotional intelligence? What is the concept of emotional intelligence? So, emotional intelligence is basically the capability of individuals to recognize their own and other people's emotions. So, recognizing the first part, to discriminate between different feelings. Okay, to use this information to guide thought and behavior, and finally to manage or adjust emotions to either adapt to the environment or to achieve one's goal. This is a basic definition of emotional intelligence. Let me break it down for you. So it is the key to both professional and personal success. This is the most important point. First of all, you have to recognize own emotions and other people's emotions. Then you have to discriminate and recognize different feelings. Then you have to use this emotional information to guide behavior. And finally, manage emotions in order to achieve goal. The capacity to do this is called as emotional intelligence. Then definition of emotional intelligence according to Mayer and Salovey, who were the first pioneers in 1990, they said that ability to perceive emotions in oneself and others accurately, ability to use emotions to facilitate thinking, ability to understand emotions, emotional language and the signals conveyed by emotion, and finally ability to manage emotions so as to attain specific goals. So this is the definition of emotional intelligence by Mayer and Salovey. In the next lesson, we will talk about how EQ is different from IQ, how EQ is more important in some domains than IQ. What are the different myths associated with emotional quotient or emotional intelligence? And these slides were made by Anirudh Kanisetti, who is our educator. Slides are taken from Slides Carnival. And thank you for watching this. Do watch the next lesson. Have an awesome day.